हरिओम।
हरिओम।
કેમ છો?
પ્રેમજી કેમ છો?
મજામાં.
નમસ્તે.
हरिओम जगदीशा जी।
Hello, namaste.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yes.
All right. Hari Om, let's start. Let's start with the prayers. Maybe a couple of guys can stay for the prayer. Om Gajanana Padmarkam Gajanana Maharnisham Anekadantam Bhaktanam Ekadantam Upasmahi Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru
Guru
Sakshat
Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Vakyakaram
Vakyakaram
Vararuchim
Ruchim
વાચકારો વરુચિ
Bhashyakaram Patanjalim
Bhāśyakaram Patanjalim
Paninim Sutrakarancha
Pāninim Sutrakaram Cha
Pranatosmi Munitrayam
Pranatosmi Munitrayam
Samaheshwara Sutrani
Maheshwara Sutrani
Ayivun
Aivun
Rillik
Riluk
Evong
Evong
Ayauch
Ayauch
Ayavarat
Ayavarat
Lan
લન
Lan
Nyamangananam
નમગણનમ
Nyamangananam
Jabhanya
જભન્ય
Jabhinya
Gadadash
ગળદશ
Gadadash
Jabagadash
જબગડ
Jabagadash
Kapha Chatata Chatatau
Kapha Chatata Chadtau
Kapai
કપઈ
Shastasar
Shasasar
Al
હલ
Al
Iti Maheshwarani Sutrani.
Iti Maheshwarani Sutrani.
Okay, let's go back to the Visarga Sandhi table and see what we covered and what we are going to cover. Okay, so we covered all of this, ich and hush, and ich, all this Guru Reva. Now we are in a little bit of exception. All the hush, even though Repa or the Ra is one of the hush, it has a slight difference compared to all other hush. Okay, especially the Rutvam part doesn't happen. So you can see that there's some exceptions. So let's look at the exception. Now, if you see here, when the Purvapada is A and Parapada is Repa, okay, other things we have covered. This part we will cover later. So all the way from the Parapada, starting with the hush, okay. Repa is an hush, okay, but it has one exception, okay. So let's see what the exception is, okay. So when the Purvapada ends with akara and Parapada is repa, it still behaves like any other hush. So the Namo Namaha Sandhi will be in place when the Purvapada is, or the vowel before the Visarga is a short A. Okay, but there is an exception for a few of those Purvapadas ending in akara. Okay, I'll give you the examples later on from the slide. Okay, so manaha plus ramate. Okay, manas, the manas shabda, it is manaha plus ramate. Mana, so before the visarga there is short a. Short a plus visarga plus ramate will become manorama, just like namo namaha sandhi. Okay, there is a small group of a ending purvapadas which are an exception. Okay, you can see that punaha ramate didn't become puno ramate. Okay, so we will see why that happens and what is the special case. Whereas if the purvapada ends with the dirgha a plus visarga and ra, then as usual the visarga drops. Okay, and if purvapada ending any ich, okay, the Gurur Brahma doesn't happen. That is the biggest exception. Okay, Gurur Brahma doesn't happen. You can imagine if the Parapada also is Repa and Purvapada ending, and if Gurur Brahma happens, then you will see like a Gurur Brahma. Okay, it's a little hard to pronounce that. Okay, Gurur Brahma is easier, but then if the Parapada also starts with something like a Guru Rama or something like that, or Guru Ramate, then it will become Guru, then R again Ra. Okay, maybe that's the reason there is an exception. So Repa Adesha, or the Visarga replaced by Repa doesn't happen when the Parapada starts with Repa. Okay, so that we will see what these two exceptions are. Okay, so Purvapada short a and long a, it just behaves like any other hush. For certain Purvapada akara ending, we'll see what that certain Purvapadas, only a few. Okay, there is an exception. Okay, and then any ich, we'll see what the changes that happen. So I will go to the presentation where I have some little more explanation. Okay, so just remember for general akara, the namo namaha sandhi will happen, and visarga dropping for the dirgha a will happen just like the other cases. Stop share, new share. Let's go to this thing. Okay, so let's look at the exception part. Okay, so we covered this, which is the Namo Namaha, and this is Guru Brahma that we have covered. So this slide, I think we are half of this. Okay, so examples, if the Purva Varna is ending with aha, and it will become O like any other hush. Okay, so our number 3, Namo Namaha, will be in place. Some example, Dharmo Rakshati. Where did this come from? Dharmo Rakshati Rakshaka. Okay, Dharmaha, akara ending. Okay, then Visarga, then starting with Ra. So it will become Dharmo. And there are, I could find at least 2 examples from Gita, Bhagavad-Gītā 8:25. They say Dhumaha Ratrihi, you will find in the text as Dhumo Ratrihi. Okay, again, Namo Namah Sandhi is happening here. Okay, and Tataha Rajan, you see that in Bhagavad-Gītā 11:9. Tataha Rajan become the Tato Rajan. Now, this general exception for the Parapada starting Repa is the Visarga drops. Okay, for all other cases except this. Okay, so there is a Sutra 8.3.14 for those who are interested in the sutras. All the rest of you don't worry about it. Okay, just remember which changes and remember the example. Okay, sutra, it will be little too early to remember the sutras. Okay, so this 8.3.13 says raha ri lopaha. That means if the visarga, which generally turns into a repa, if it is followed by again another repa, this re is the 7-1 means it is parapada beginning or the paravarna. Okay, so a visarga followed by another repa, then that visarga will drop. That we saw that in the case of dirgha a. So purva varna is of course ach, because purva varna cannot be anything else before the visarga. If the paravarna is repa, then the visarga drops. Okay, and there are a lot of examples for that. Devaihi rakshitaha, devaihi rakshitaha. Okay, aihi. So there's an example of dirgha a and ai. So it is true for any vowel other than short a. Okay. Dhartarashtraharane, that's from Bhagavad-Gītā 146. Dhartarashtraharane, you will see in the books as Dhartarashtrarane. Okay, but there is a visarga, Dhartarashtraharane. There is no word Dhartarashtra by itself. That is happening because of the visarga repa. Now, what happens for the other ones? Like the a is covered, any other ich. So if the purva varna is, so this sutra general exception is for everything, because it says if the parapada starts with ra, the visarga drops. Okay. And an additional condition is if the purva varna is anna. Okay, what is anna? A, I, U. Okay, if the purva varna is an, then after the visarga drop happens, that an will become dirgha. Okay, there is a sutra 63111 which says the an before the will become dirgha if for the an before the visarga will become long if after the visarga the paravarna is repa again. Examples: antaha rashtriya becomes antarashtriya. The short a here became long a. Another example with the e. Dasharatihi Ramaha. Okay. If you make the sandhi, then the first step is visarga drops, Dasharathi Ramaha. And whenever a visarga drops because of this rori, okay, then the next change will happen. If the visarga dropped, then the ikara, the ikara is an an, right? So that an will become dirgha. So you will see if this sandhi is made, then it will be Dasharathi Ramaha. Okay, because of 8.3.14 plus 6.3.1.1.1. Okay, when the visarga drops, if the purvapada is an ach or the an, then that will become dirgha version of that an. So short a will become long a, and short e will become long e. Another example of ukara, Shishuhu Roditi. Okay, Shishu, the baby cries. So this Shishuhu, u is an an letter, okay, and repa. So this u will become Shishuroditi. Okay, so that is the last case in the for the all the ich. If it is an, it will become dirgha. Otherwise, just the visarga drops as a general case. Okay, so general exception is the visarga drops, and in that general exception, if the purva varna is a, I, u, then that a, I, u will become dirgha. Any questions?
I have one question. So, what is the difference between these two words, dhuma, dhumaha plus ratri, and antaha plus rashtra?
Okay. Who is asking the question? We can't see the name. Who is asking the question? Name, please.
And Chaya here.
Okay, Chayaji. Good question. Okay. I was pausing here just for that. I thought somebody will ask the question because here also purva varna is a, here also anta also is purva varna is a. Okay. So that is what I said. Only in some specific akaras, okay, then only it will become dirgha. So what is the specific case? So in the case of anta, okay, the visarga was before the change. The visarga was r, okay, repa itself before the, that is what is called swabhavika repa. Okay, there are two kinds of repas. One is swabhavika repa. One other one is the what is we call as ru, which is visarga changing into repa. Okay, so there are some sutras where sasajushohu, like any sakara will change into repa and then will become visarga. So in, say, for example, Ramaha, it was Ramas. Rama plus sup vibhakti pratyaya will make it Ramas. The next step will be Ramas, will be Rama. And then repa will become visarga if that is the end of the pada or standalone word. Okay. So in this case, this antaha, the difference between, say, dharmaha, dhumaha, tataha, compared to antaha, there is a difference. The dharmaha, the visarga was sakara before, dharmas. Okay, akara on the pullinga is sup pratipadika is sakara. So this was dharmas. Dhumaha was dhumas. And tataha is tatas. Okay, and when it's the end of the pada, it will become visarga. Whereas in the case of antaha, before it became visarga, it was not antas, it was antar. Okay, so that is the visarga here is before the change. Visarga was a natural repa. It was not a visarga changing into repa. Okay, so this the visarga you see here is because of this sutra, kar avasanayoho visarjaniyaha. So the repa will become visarga if it is end of the pada. Okay, any word ending in repa, that repa will become visarga if it is the end of the pada or if it is followed by a kar or hard consonant. Okay, antaha is one of those. Before it became visarga as the end of the pada, it was antar. That is the reason for those natural repas, okay, they only behave like this becoming dirgha. Okay, whereas all these non-natural repas, these are repas turning from sakara, they will behave just like namo namaha sandhi. Okay, so the only exception here is the natural repas will be dropped according to general exception, and whatever the previous letter, short a will become long a. Okay.
Is that the same reason? Is that the reason why Antarashtriya is one word?
Antarashtriya, yeah. It is becoming one word is for a different reason. It is becoming one word is because it is a samasta pada.
Okay.
Okay, not because of the sandhi. Like here, sandhi doesn't mandate that they have to be same. Your pronunciation will change, but you don't have to make into one word. But samasa has a rule that it is has to be made into one word. It's a good question, but the answer is because this is a samasta pada.
And
Okay.
Saṁskṛta is the same as a samasa.
Yes, samasta pada means a result of a samasa. A pada which is result of a samasa is samasta pada.
Okay, thank you.
Individual pada
Is it
combined.
Is it antarashtriya or antarashtriya?
It
So
is
normally
antarashtriya.
but we hear as antarashtriya. That's what we hear normally in the.
You might hear it as antararashtriya. I mentioned that in the last class. Antararashtriya is between the countries. Okay, this is antar is internal within. Okay, so the speaker has to pronounce it clearly. Antararashtriya. Antara means different, so it's between the countries. This is antarashtriya. Okay, this was antar plus rashtriya becoming antarashtriya. So antar plus rashtriya that repa, which otherwise will have become visarga, will drop because of this rho re or 8-3-14. And then because of the other 6-3-1-1-1, the akara at the end of the ta will become anta. There's just a few few examples like that. So only the swabhavika repa, you can see this little footnote. This footnote is to answer Chayaji's question. Okay, only the swabhavika repa will become lopa, and then the and then make the preceding into dirgha. Same happens with any other repanta purvapadas. Okay, there are not many ra ending purvapadas. Okay, just a few. For example, punar. Okay, that's why there's a punaramate. It doesn't become punoramate. Okay, and punar is an avyaya also. But there are other pratipadikas like gir, chatur, dwar. Okay, I already have gir here. Okay, all these pratipadikas also will the same thing will happen. Okay, now in the punar, puna, if any repa starting parapada is there, then punar will become puna, chatur will become chatu, then dwara will become dwar. Okay, this is already dirgha anyway. But I'm just listing here, there's only a few repa ending purvapada. So the chances of this becoming for a ending is just 4 or 5 cases. Okay, any other questions? Is this
Thank you,
exception
Jagdish.
to?
Yes, I have one question.
Yeah.
This is Pratima. On the chart itself, it says above number 3, that's a hush, soft consonant, and underneath is a R, refa.
Yeah.
And then underneath it says R, not born of Ru, and that we are not talking about, right?
Yeah, that is what we are talking about. Not born of Ru are the natural ones. Okay.
So
Born of Ru are these ones. This dharmaha, as I mentioned earlier, dharmaha, well, before becoming dharmaha as an independent word, it was dharmas, then it will be dharmar. That is the visarga born of Ru.
Right.
Okay. So the natural ones are not the ones born out of Ru. Okay. So that's the little subtle difference. Okay. And actually, this difference was not there in the textbook.
That's what I'm trying. I'm confused because in the book it doesn't say it. And I'm trying to match.
You have sorry. Okay, you have the old version. Okay.
I have an old version.
But the chart shows that, but the different the page number that this difference is not there in the book.
Yeah, because I have
the old book.
Yeah, because mine is old. So purva is the H, then like saha, like aha, and then para is ash, and then it becomes refa. And I don't have this at all. Harsh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is just to keep in mind. These examples are very, very few and very rare, but it is in the book. I have to discuss, and when I discuss, I have to give you the background why that happens.
Okay. Thank you.
So one thing to remember is whatever is the purvapada is the parapada is starting with repa. Gurur Brahma Sandhi never happens.
Got it. Yes.
So that's why I put that in the red here. Guru Brahma never happens if the Uttarapada is repa. But the general rule, it is as a hush. Okay. But except for repa.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Now, let's go back to the book. Here, what do I have? Okay. Now we are going to the other sandhis. Now, before going to the other sandhis in the presentation, let's go to the book and what is there in the book in this page. That may be a little confusing. That is why I didn't want to go there to...
yes, it is confusing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go to the book. And let's go to the book, whoever has the new version of the book. There, this exception is discussed. But it may be a little more confusing. The discussion may be a little more confusing. Okay, this is where it is. Okay. So
What page is that?
we are on page 31 if you have the new book. If you have the old book, volume 2, then you won't have this page at all.
I think
But
on
we discussed-
page 29, there is I think it's a note, meaning not exception, but it's a note. When following a ru or ro, the R, the refa is often written as ru, and like munir ruchati or guru ruchati. That example is given on the top of it. Yeah, this one.
Okay.
Yeah, that I have.
This thing we talked about this earlier, but this note is only for how to write it. Okay, we talked about this, how to write it.
Yes,
Where
yes.
does the horn come? Okay. Okay, so the discussion in the book is here. So exception, which shown in the chart, visarga plus ril. The general rule is the visarga drops. Okay, so there's some example. Indriyaihi ramate, gauhu ramate, and here she didn't give the examples of a ending. Okay, if the purva vowel is a short an, okay, then it becomes dirgha. Okay, so punaha ramate will become punaramate. Again, this punaha, before it was shown as visarga at the end of the word, the original form is punar. Okay, then that's why you get like a punarvasa, punarayat, all those things. Okay, harihi ramate, ikara ending will become hari ramate, guru ramate, guru ramate. Okay, however, a plus visarga born of ru, okay, will follow the namo namaha sandhi. That's what I mentioned earlier. I went in the reverse way because that may be easier, because that is how it is shown in the chart. Okay, akara comes first. Okay, so if the visarga was born out of ru, then which is non-natural repa. Okay, this is born out of ru, so this is not natural repa like a punar, gir, all those things. Only then it just follows the namo namaha like any other hush. Okay, manaharamate will become manoramate. Okay, because it was manas earlier, not manar. That is the reason. You will never hear the words like manar or something. You will say manas, like manastapa, all those things. So that thing, what we talked about now, is listed here because this was a little confusing. She spent 2 more pages on this in the new edition. And there's a little typo on the numbers because this number 5 is discussed here. So there's a little numbering typo. Okay, again, for those who are looking for sutras, the sutras are there. Now we will go to the other sandhis. Okay, so we covered on the parapada side. Purvapada, of course, we covered all the vowels on the purvapada, but parapada sides, because there's so many options, we covered all the vowels on the parapada side and also all the soft consonants. Okay, because all the ash up to ash we have covered. Now we have to look at only the hard consonants. Okay, so what we are talking about is in the chart. Make it a little smaller. Okay, so in the chart, purvapada for all the ach, parapada we covered all the ach. Okay, these first 2 columns are all the ach and hush. So we covered all the hush. Okay, ach plus hush is ash, from all the way up akara to dakara. Okay, so what is left are only the hard consonants, that is the column 1 and column 2. Okay, like kaka, cha-cha, all those things, tata, tata, papa. Okay, and then the 3 sibilants, sha, sa, because those are the hard consonants. You can check in the Maheshwara Sutra. So that are the only things left. So what happens to them? Okay, what happens to kaka and cha-cha, sha? Okay, you can see that in here, the consonants are arranged by their sthana. Okay, kaka are one group consonant, hard consonant, and cha cha and the śāṅkara-bhāṣya are same because they are. What is the Saṁskṛta word for this? Cha cha sha. What is the sthana for them?
Talu.
Talu. Okay. So this cha cha sha are talavya. These are ta ta sha are murdanya and tha ta sa are dantya. Okay. So you can see that where ka doesn't have a sibilant in that group, there's no kantya sibilant and there is no labial sibilant. Okay. So ka, ka and pa, pa. Okay. Now these sandhis, so any purvapada ending in purvapada is ach by naturally plus visarga plus parapada starting with a consonant. These are very common and everybody knows. Even without the sandhi rules, we know how to pronounce it. What we are doing now is why we are pronouncing that way. What rules make it pronounced that way. So that we will see. Okay. So ka, kha and pa, pa. Okay. So purvapada, visarga. If the visarga is followed by ka, kha and pa, pa, the visarga is pronounced in a certain way, and that certain pronunciation is called jihvamuliya and upadmaniya. Okay. So if the purvapada is ending in a vowel plus visarga and the parapada is starting in ka, kha. Okay. In that case, the option is either to pronounce the visarga or make it to jihvamuliya. Okay. Jihvamuliya is a sound that's like a very guttural. Okay. We'll give the examples now because I am on this page. We'll just look at this page and we'll go to the presentation part. On the other end, okay, if the visarga is followed by a pa, pa, which is labial, then that visarga is pronounced as if like an F sound. Okay, pa. Okay, there is a lot of examples. We'll see several examples. Okay. So that is on the end. On the kantyas, any visarga followed by ka, ka will be pronounced as jihvamuliya, and any visarga followed by pa, pa will become a upadmaniya. Upadmaniya is like a F sound. Like you can see that punaha, punaha will become punaf, punaha. Okay, it has to be pronounced like punaf, punaha. This is the only place where you get very close to the F sound in Saṁskṛta. Otherwise, there is no other place where the pronunciation of F will come. It is always pa. Okay, phalam. It is not phalam. Okay, so this is the only place. It is the closest to F. And it is the upadmaniya or the visarga pronounced when it is followed by a pa, pa.
I have a question, Jagdishji.
Yeah.
So in this case, in the parapada, the hard consonants, what would be the purvapada at that point? Any purvapada?
Any purvapada, before
Okay.
the visarga there can be only vowel, right? It can't be a consonant.
Right.
So there is no condition on the purvapada or the purvavarna. Any purvavarna, the pronunciation of visarga depends only on the parapada in this hard consonant case.
Thank you.
Clear? Okay. So that is why it's obvious because this one column here extends for all the purvapadas, right? You see my cursor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So it is common for all the purvapadas, akara, akara, ich. So all ach, it is same. That means purvapada doesn't matter. Okay. Visarga followed by kaka will become okay, like dukkham. I somehow didn't like the example, dukkham. Okay, you could get better examples. So in the presentation, I put something else. Punah punaha is okay. And what happens to the others? So cha, sha, sa. Okay, for this one, visarga followed by any of these three, the visarga will turn into the śāṅkara-bhāṣya. Okay, or talavya shakara. So visarga followed by hard talavya, the hard consonant parapada the Visarga will turn into Śāṅkara-sha or Talavya-shakara. If the Visarga is followed by a Murdhanya hard consonant, there are only 3 Murdhanya hard consonants, okay, ta, tha, and sha. Okay, so if it is Murdhanya, then the Visarga will turn into Murdhanya Shakara. Same way for dental, if the Visarga is followed by a dental hard consonant, which is ta, tha, sha, so the Visarga will turn into the Saraswati sa, dental sa or the Saraswati sa. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, passingly, the hard consonants, Visarga Sandhi for the hard consonant is the simplest. Okay, because it is independent of the Purva Varna. So now, then there are 2 additional points, or the actually 2 additional, one exception here, and another exception for Saha and Eshaha only. So I'll come to that later. So let's cover this number 5 and number 6, okay, in the presentations. Any questions on the table on the book? It is pretty straightforward. The hard consonants are the simplest of the Visarga Sandhis, and they are actually 2-step only, whereas in the Purva, the soft consonant and others, there are more than 2 steps. So let's go to the presentation thing. That thing is done. So let's go to the presentation mode. Let's see what it says. Okay. So Visarga number 5, Jihvamulya and Upadmaniya. Okay. A few classes ago, when I mentioned the word Upadmaniya, somebody, must be Prem Khilnani ji, asked how did the word Upadmaniya came from? Okay. So Upadmaniya came from a upasarga, and it came from the dhatu dhma. Okay, there is a dhatu called dhma. Now this dhma is like a blowing with the help of lips. Okay, and you might have heard this another word that came from this dhma dhatu. Okay, in Bhagavad-Gītā chapter 1. So this dhma dhatu, if you look at dhatu kosha, now because somebody asked the question about how did that word came about. Dhma. Okay, there is a dhma dhatu. It says dhma shabdagri sanyogayoho. Shabdagri sanyogayoho. To exhale, to blow, to throw away. Okay, so the Upadmaniya came from that. And the word that in chapter 1, when all these warriors blow their conches. Does anybody remember? There is a word involving the sound dhma.
Tankan dadhmau pratak pratak.
That is the word. So that dadhmau is past tense of the blow. Okay, that dadhmau came from the same dhma dhatu. I think it comes 3-4 times because Shankam dadhmau pratapavan 112. So several cases comes. So that same dhma dhatu is the Upadmaniya word is derived from the same dhma dhatu. When you blow the conch, your lips have to touch and you have the blowing sound into the conch. Everybody can't do that. It needs some practice. Okay, so that is where the word Upadmaniya comes from. Okay, because of the involvement of the lips in the pronunciation of that sound. So said, okay, here Purva Varna can be it will be ach only anyway, because I changed that color because there's no other option. Okay, Purva Varna, any ach plus Visarga, and the Paravarna starting with ka. Okay, then this is the notation in some books. A lot of times they just give Visarga itself. Like any book you see, grammar book or Saṁskṛta books or Gita book, they'll just put the Visarga. And you have to know that Visarga, okay, what is the next coming consonant? Is it Papa? Then you pronounce the Visarga as Pa. Okay? If it is Kaka, they make it as Pa. Okay? So Kākaha Krishnaha becomes Kāka Krishnaha. This notation is, same notation is used for Upadmaniya as well as Jihvamuliya. Okay? It's like upside up U and upside down U, one over the other. Okay, it's very difficult to get that font is, or that symbol is very rarely available. It's used only in Saṁskṛta in this notation. In any other fonts, they're not available. Okay. And for Upadmaniya, again, Puravarana can only be H plus Visarga plus Pa. Then it will change into like a Fa sound. So the right way of pronouncing Punaha Punaha is Punah Punaha. Okay, just like F sound. Let's see what examples we have. Okay, for this Visarga Sandhi, a lot of examples, a series of examples in one verse you can get from Viṣṇu-sahasra-nāma. Okay, now how many verses in Viṣṇu-sahasra-nāma totally? Anybody?
108.
108. Okay, the 1008 names are in 108. How many verses in Bhagavad-Gītā?
700.
700 even. Okay. Now, the Viṣṇu-sahasra-nāma I mentioned before the Visarga Sandhi. All examples of Visarga Sandhi can be gotten in Viṣṇu-sahasra-nāma. Even the ones you may not find in Gita, you will get it in Viṣṇu-sahasra-nāma. And the other thing is, in Viṣṇu-sahasra-nāma, sometimes Vyasa Maharshi has picked the names of Vishnu, they put in the same verse, undergoing the same sandhi. So there's an example here of Jihvamuliya. Okay, Kāmadeva, Kāmapala, Kāmi, Kānta, Kṛtāgamaha. Okay, so Kāmadevaha, one of the names, Kāmapalaha, another of names, Kāmi, okay, this stand alone, then Kāntaha, Kṛtāgamaha. Okay, so you can see that what happens now. So if you make the Visarga Sandhi, the Visarga will become Jihvamuliya. The very way to pronounce is Kāmadevah, Kāmapalak, Kāmi, Kānta, Kṛtāgamaha. Okay, it generally the sound is like throat clearing kind of. So Jihvamuliya. Okay, so Kantya, like clearing the throat. Okay, and most of the times people pronounce as if it is another ka. Okay, but the right pronunciation, if there has to be illustrated, then it is like a gurgling, more of a gurgling kind of ka sound. So that is the Jihvamuliya. Okay, and you can get that all the time because there are a lot of words starting with ka, and there are a lot of words ending with Visarga. So this combination is very well seen. And I just picked this verse 70 because I get 3 examples in the same line. Okay, just a half a shloka, I get 3 examples. That is why I picked this. Okay, this is an example for Upadmaniya. Okay, another verse.
Jagdish, question.
Yeah.
So when they write it, it will be Kāmadevah.
Yeah.
Kāmapala, right?
Yeah. Generally, they write it in as a Visarga only. Only sometimes in some Vedic ones, if they have the print capability of printing that, printing Visarga is much easier, right?
Yeah.
So you have to make the change. When you're reading Visarga, you'd see immediately starting with Kakara. Then you make it Kāmadeva, Kāmapa, like that. Okay. And most of the text, you will see Visarga only. Okay. Next, going to Upadmaniya. Okay, another verse, Viṣṇu-sahasra-nāma 44. Again, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 cases of Upadmaniya in half a verse. Okay. Vaikuntah Purushah Pranah Pranadah Pranavah Pratuhu. That is how it has to be pronounced. Okay. Vaikuntah, the Visarga will become Upadmaniya. Purushaha, this Visarga will become Purushah. Vaikuntah Purushah Pranah Pranadah Prana Pranavah Pratuhu. Okay?
Can you repeat that again, please?
Just the pronunciation part.
Yes.
Okay. Vaikuntah Purushah Prana Pranada Pranava Pratuhu. Okay.
So it sounds right?
Your voice is breaking. I couldn't make out anything.
No. See, in the earlier Jivamulya, it definitely sounds like a throat clearing. Ka.
Yeah.
But here it sounds so similar. I can't make out.
Okay. Vaikuntah Purushah Prana Pranada Pranava Pratuhu. You have to pronounce it just like F followed by a P. If you're writing in English, it is as if Vaikuntah Purushah Pranah Pranadav.
All right.
Okay, F kind of sound, fa kind of sound.
Okay, and then you still pronounce pra.
Yeah, the pa and other things pronounce as they are. Only the visarga changed into the upadmaniya kind of sound.
Like a sounds like a F, letter
Right.
F.
Right. Okay, that is the closest to F.
Okay, thank you.
Jagdishji, the other very famous example is in Gayatri, right? Gayatri mantra. Dhyo yonaf prachodayat.
Exactly. Yep. See, that is very common. But here, I kind of got a verse where I buy one, get 4 free.
Correct.
And in Viṣṇu-sahasra-nāma, you get that. And maybe you sometimes might get this in Rudram also. And you can get a lot of Namo Namaha example in Namakam, naturally.
Yeah.
Namo Namaha Sandhi examples. Okay, so this is Jihva Muli and Upadmaniya. They're pretty simple. Okay. Any questions?
So Jagdishji, Chandu here.
Yeah.
So any purpose here, because when you pronounce Vaikuntah, Purushah, Pranah, Pranadav.
No, nothing like purpose. But you see, Visarga is a Visarjaniya. You have to exhale, you have to pronounce if you want to pronounce it separately.
Okay.
Any exhalation like Hakara and Visarga and generally Mahapranas, they take a lot of breath energy, not energy, volume of air. They're harder to pronounce.
Yeah.
Okay. Any Mahapranas, you can chant and suppose a simple word like a lot of alpapranas and vowels come, you can chant very fluently. Suddenly, if there is a mix of a lot of Mahapranas, Hakaras and Visargas, then you can't recite as many verses in the same breath as a non-Visarga and less of Mahapranas. You can notice that very easily.
Okay.
Okay. And that, I think, is the reason for all these Visarga sandhis. Okay. So,
okay. Can you pronounce the Jihvamulya one more time?
Yeah, Jihvamulya, it's Kama Devah, Kama Palak, Kami Kantah Kṛtagamaha. Okay. But generally, in the group, it is pronounced as if there is a 2 kas, Visarga, as if it turned into a ka, because it takes a lot of effort to make it down the throat, Jihvamulya.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So generally you might hear, unless people are making that very consciously, Jihvamulya, you might hear as if like a Kama Deva, Kama Pala, as if there is 2 kas. Okay, that is how we generally hear. Okay, but it has a separate name, Jihvamulya. So it has to come from the Visarga changing into Jihvamulya, that ka kind of sound has to come even before the kakara kantya. Okay, even lower than that.
I have a question, Jagdishji.
Yeah.
in the exercise I now saw it, there's a Dritihi Kshama, right? That is the
We'll
exercise, the
come to
last.
that. Hold it. Okay, we will come to that. That is an exception, okay?
All right, okay. So when Shakara followed with Visarga, then
We'll come to that.
pronounce
Because
fully the Visarga.
Yeah, that is there in the book, and we will come to that. Okay.
Okay.
That comes to the next page. That is in the chart also. Okay. Then.
Mahodaya, I have a question.
Yeah.
What is the origin of the term Jihva Mulya? You explained how Upadhmanya.
Okay, Jihva Mulya is simple. Jihva is
Tongue.
Mula is its base.
Okay, got it.
Okay. So that is like even little below the Kantha level. Okay. Now there is a very, very appropriate subhashita that the grammar teachers always use to highlight this Jihva Mulya and Upadmaniya in a short, simple subhashita word. Okay, that is what is here. Kākaha Krishnaha, Pikaha Krishnaha, Ko Vedaha Pika Kākayoho. Everybody got the meaning? Kaka is crow. Crow is black. Pikaha is the cuckoo or koel. Okay.
It's also black.
This is also black. Kākaha Krishnaha, Pikaha api Krishna.
What
Ko
is the
Vedaha
difference
Pika
between both?
Kākayoho. What is the big difference between?
Between crow and cuckoo.
Okay, that is the question. Answer is Vasanta Kale Samprapte. When the spring season comes, then you will know. Kākaha Kākaha, Pikaha Pikaha.
Pikaha.
Okay. So the natural tendency will come. You don't go with the outer looks. Okay. Go with the little deeper. Don't go by the skin color. Okay. So, but grammar teachers use it to highlight. Now here it is kind of a mixed. Okay. Upadmani and Jihva Mulya is mixed. So with these notations, then they will go like as if like one word. Okay. Once you make the sandhi. So we are reading from here. Kāka Krishna Pika Krishnaha. Ko Veda. I put Krishna here because this is the quarter end. Okay. But if you want to make the sandhi together, Kāka Krishna Pika Krishna Ko Veda Pika Kākayoho. Okay. So Ko Veda Kākaha Krishnaha Kāka Krishnaha. Krishnaha Pikaha Krishna Pikaha. Pikaha Krishnaha Pika Krishnaha. Krishnaha Ko Krishna Ko. Okay. Then Ko here because it's not a, this is not a, the Veda is not a hard consonant. The Ko also was Kaha. Okay. But because Veda Ba is a soft consonant, it makes it O, like Namo Namaha Sandhi. Right? So that's what happened here. Ko Veda Pika Kākayoho Vasanta Kale Samprapte Kākaha Pika Pikaha or Kāka Pika Pikaha. Vasanta Kale Samprapte Kāka Pika Pikaha. That is how to pronounce it with the Jihva Mulya.
That in Hindi they say when they open their mouth, doodh ka doodh, pani ka pani.
Yeah, yes.
So Jagdishji, there is a Upadanya also there, right? In Veda here.
Yeah,
right?
Upadmaniya. So the same notation, if it is before Pakara Fakara, then it's called Upadmaniya. The symbol is the same. Pronunciation is different.
Okay.
Okay. And even that one symbol is very hard to find. Okay. And I had to copy that from some other Saṁskṛta thing I could find in the website that was in Microsoft Word and copy and put here. Because if you look at the Microsoft fonts, you won't find this. Okay, then okay, we already covered this. So this is 6a. Now The number 5 is Upadmaniya and Jihvamulya. So if you want, we can make it as 5A Upadmaniya and 5A is Jihvamulya and 5B as Upadmaniya. Okay, but they're so popular. You see so many examples. I put it in the same page of presentation, as you can see that, and it's so simple also. And this 6A, the 3 Talavya, Murdanya, and Dantya, I just made it A, B, and C. So let's do the Talavya first, because in the Paninian order, Talavya Shakara comes first. Okay. So Purvapada, any ach, ending in Visarga, followed by Parapada. The Paravarna is either Chakara, Chakara, or Śāṅkara-bhāṣya. Okay, all 3 Talavyas. Then the Visarga will change into Talavya Sha. Okay. Example, Bhagavad-Gītā 1.8. Okay. Generally, you see that all the time when the Visarga followed by Chakara. Okay. Bhimaha cha, Bhimascha, Karnaha cha, Karnascha, Kripaha cha, Kripascha. So Bhimascha. So what happened here? The Visarga changed into Talavya Sha. Okay. Bhimascha, Karnascha, Kripascha. So in the books, you will see them like this. That is the reason why it became Bhimahacha becomes Bhimascha. So I gave the intermediate step. Generally, if you open any Gita book, you will see it like this only. The sandhi is already made. That is with the cha as the Uttarapada or Parapada or Paravarna. So a couple of examples. There's not generally in any book, the words starting with Mahaprana are a lot fewer than words starting from Alpaprana and soft. Okay, Mahaprana and hard are very few words. So the examples are not as readily available. Okay, and in the Gita, I didn't find a case where I could get examples from Gita where the Parapada cha. So I had to make this up. So I can find this. So I just made up these examples starting with cha. Okay. Shvetaha Chhatraha. Okay. The Parapada starts with cha, which is Murdanya. So Visarga has to change into not Murdanya, Talavya. Visarga has to change into Talavya Shakara. Okay. Became Shvetash Chhatraha. So when you write it, it will be written as Shvetash Chhatraha. Anybody guess the meaning?
White.
Umbrella.
Umbrella.
Okay. Did anybody check the umbrella whether it's Pullinga or Napumsakalinga?
Napumsakalinga Chatram.
Chatram. So what is this Chatraha?
It's umbrella. It's umbrella, right?
No, Chatram
No,
is
it's not
umbrella. Chatraha is, take a guess. What has the shape of umbrella?
Circle.
Huh?
Elephant ear.
No, this Chatraha is the name for mushroom.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So Shweta Chatraha is white mushroom. Okay, another word. Yeah, I see. I know that Chatram is there. There's a common cha starting, but then any adjective will be ending with a Napumsakalinga. I need a Pullinga word. Okay, so if it is a white umbrella, it will be Shvetam Chatram. So this Visarga Sandhi can't happen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then Balaha, the boy, Chatraha, student. Okay, the boy is a student or boy student. Balaha Chatraha, Balash Chatraha. So when the sandhi is made, it will appear like this. Bala, the Visarga will be this, the Shakara before the cha. Balash Chatraha.
Just a quick question, Jagdishji.
Yeah.
On the first line, when Bhishmaha cha becomes sha and cha, and then it becomes cha, little different than the bottom cha.
Yeah, this is the way of writing the sha when it is the first part of a compound consonant. Okay, this is the way of writing it. If your question is, why is it like that? Shakara is not seen.
So what you're saying is it's what the first.
The top here, you can see my cursor. Let me make it a little bigger.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, see the upper part here is the sha sound. The lower part is cha. You can see that pretty same shape. But a lot of times the sha will be written like this. Okay.
As opposed to the bottom one is sha is different.
Right. Here you can see the sha part. Okay. There are two ways of writing it. But when it is something that has a vertical line, okay, any letter.
Oh, okay.
The vertical line, it is the shakara is written like this in a compound consonant.
But the sound is same, exactly.
Sound is exactly same. This is right in just in notation and only in Devanagari. In some other language, it will be written something different.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Next, we covered cha, cha, and parapada starting with shakara. Again, went to Viṣṇu-sahasra-nāma. There is a whole shloka where the purvapada ends with the shakara and parapada starts with the shakara. Purvapada ends with visarga, parapada starts with shakara. Okay, the Thalavya shakara. Shridaha, Shrishaha, Srinivasaha, Srinidhihi, Shrivibhavanaha, Sridharaha, Shrikaraha, Shreyaha, Shriman Lokatrayashrayaha. Okay, all of them except for the all of them. Yeah, all the words starts with the Śāṅkara and end with visarga. Even the ones in the beginning and the end. Okay. So Shridaha, Shri, let's see. Okay. So the visarga will become shakara. Shridash, Shrishash, Srinivashash, Srinidhish, Shrivibhavanaha. Then there is the top line. The second line is Sridharaha, Sridharash, Shrikarash, Shriyash, Shriman Lokatrayaya. So if you're chanting it, you might have heard Viṣṇu-sahasra-nāma. When people chant in a group fluently, then they pronounce it as if the two lines are two long words. Okay. Shridhar, Shrisha, Srinivasa, Srinidhi, Shrivibhavanaha. Sridhara, Shrikara, Shreyash, Shriman Lokatrayashraya. So while chanting, as if the top line is one word and the bottom line is another word. And that is how it is written. But then if you write like this, that'll be very difficult to follow because it's a whole line is one word. So generally in the books, even though it's pronounced like that, it's never typed like this, generally typed as the top line. Okay, so this is 6a, where after the visarga, you have cha, cha, sha. Any questions on this? Very simple. Okay, this is Bhishma's cha and Shantish, Shantish, Shantihi. That's what happened here. Okay, I took the cha example and the sha example. Okay, Shantish, Shantish, Shantihi, you might find like this in some cases because it's just the 3 words, and even the 3 words are actually the same one word. Okay. But this thing here, I think you will never find it like this. Okay, because of the readability, they split it. Yeah, there's a question.
Jagdish, namaste. Normally, even whether it is Shantish, Shantish, although we pronounce it, but it is always shown, even the Sridhara, Sridhara, they normally just leave the visarga in there. They don't
that's what I'm
put
saying. They leave the visarga, but as long as you know the rules, then you rarely hear even the people who don't know about the grammar. I don't hear people saying Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. The only reason is that Shantihi, you have to expel the visarga breath 2 times extra compared to Shantish, Shantish, Shantihi is much easier than Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. You're already out of breath.
Yeah, I remember Pujya Swamiji correcting everyone once about the Shantish, Shantish, Shantish. Right.
Yeah. Okay, it's written like that, but has to be generally pronounced like this. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is 6a. Now let's see the next one, 6b. Okay, where Purvapada is ach plus visarga, and the Parapada starts with ta, tha, sha, or the Paravarna is takara, takara, or shanmukha sha. Okay. Again, for the words starting with the ta, tha, and the shanmukha sha are very, very few. Okay. So in Gita and in Viṣṇu-sahasra-nāma, I couldn't find this combination. So I had to come up with something. The second one I found in another grammar book. The first one I made up myself. Okay. Now this dhanu ending with visarga and taṅkaraha. Now taṅkara is the, that sound they make in the movie war scenes. You might have seen before the war, the warriors with the bow, archer warriors, they pull the string just to make the big sound, just to show how powerful they are. That sound is called taṅkara. Okay, dhanuhu taṅkaraha. This visarga, because its next letter starts with a murdanya, the visarga will become murdanya shakara, dhanush taṅkara. So, and finally it becomes dhanush taṅkara. Okay. Another example, dayamanaha tittibaha. Tittaba is a kind of bird. Okay. And dayamana is flying, the bird in flight, tittiba in flight. Dayamanaha, one who is flying. Okay. Again, visarga plus ta will become sha. Dayamanash tittibaha. Combined will become dayamanash tittibaha. Okay. And all these examples are very difficult to find. Okay. Another word. If you look up the dictionary, the nouns that start with mahaprana tha, there may be 2 or 3 nouns. That's it. Okay. And then you have to find a suitable combination for a purvapada that has to end in visarga. Okay. So this is what I could come up with. Indraha Thakuraha. Thakura is the word where the Thakur, the current Thakur came from, the Hindi Thakur. Okay. Thakuraha is like a deity. So Indra was a Vedic deity. Okay. So I took that as an example. Indraha Thakuraha will become Indrash Thakuraha, become Indrash Thakuraha. Okay. So that is the only example I could make out. I don't even have a second example to give. Okay, whereas with the Sha, there are a couple of examples in Gita also. Okay, so Shuklaha Shanmasaha 824 Shanmasa Uttarayanam it comes because Shanmasa Uttarayanam, because of the U being vowel, visarga drops. But here that's the end. I am just stopping there. So Shuklaha Shanmasaha will become Shuklash Shanmasaha. And when combined, it becomes Shukla Shanmasaha as double Sha. Okay. Same way, Manaha Shashtani, Manas Shashtani, Manas Shashtani, Indriyani. Okay. Chapter 15. So, any question on that? Yes. Any question on the Shakara? This is pretty simple. Okay. So the visarga will turn into one of those shakaras of the same sthana. See the last one, which is visarga plus takara, ta, tha, and simple sa or Saraswati sa. This example is namaste. Namaste was namaha plus te, namaste. And a lot of examples. You can find a lot of examples for this in Bhagavad-Gītā itself. Quite a few examples. Okay. But I picked the ones where I can find multiple examples in the same verse. Okay. Yajñas tapas tatha 17:7. Yajñaha tapaha tatha. You can see that visarga followed by takara becomes yajñas tapaha. tapaha tatha becomes tapas tatha. So Visarga becomes Sakara, Visarga becomes Sakara, followed by. So when pronouncing, you can pronounce it like this, even though it is written like this in the verse. Okay, Yajnas tapas tatha. Okay, another longer one. Tadbuddhayaha 517. Bhagavad-Gītā 517. Tadbuddhayaha tadatmanaha tannishtaha tatparayanaha. Okay, I get 3 examples, 1 to 3 examples in the same line. Okay, one line, half verse. Tadbuddhayaha will become.
See the examples. Jagdish, we don't see the examples. Only one we can see.
We can see all.
We can see all.
Yes. Yeah, I have only 2 lines now. Title line and 2 lines. Yeah, because I am screen sharing. I think most people can see, I think. Maybe you have some delay, I think.
Can this ever be confused with a Shashti?
Which one?
Like it becomes Sya, Sta, Sa.
Yeah, what Shashti?
Tadbuddhasya. Oh, it's Sta. Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Okay. Tadbuddhayaha tadatmanaha tannishtaha tatparayanaha. Okay. So Visarga becoming Sakara in all the 3 cases, and then immediately followed by Dantya. So Tadbuddhayas tadatmanas tannishtas tatparayanaha. Okay.
So when you chant, then do you like chant as you break it, or you just chant as a one?
You chant it as one, especially with the takara. It's pretty simple. So generally, when you say tadbuddhayas tadatmanas tannishtas tatparayanaha, so what they do is when they do the padacheda, then they will break it as a sandhi. They take the sakara out, make it into visarga. Okay. And I didn't realize it is already 7:10. So,
oh my God. Okay.
Let's stop this, and we'll start this next class. And maybe in the next class we might be able to finish Visarga Sandhi, and then we can go to Swara Sandhi. And before Swara Sandhi, a little introduction of Panini's conventions, okay, to understand the Swara Sandhi and Vijnana Sandhi. Okay, so most likely next class we will be able to finish Visarga Sandhi. And there are a lot of homework exercises. Try to do as much as possible. Okay. And after the Visarga Sandhi is completed, and I think there's a lot more homework in the book itself. Okay. End the show. Let's do the prayers. And then any questions we can answer. Okay. Okay. Prayers. Om Sarve
Bhavantu Sakhinah, Sarve
Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Asato Ma Sadgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. So we have a Kaschid here with the Visarga Sandhi, and we already talked about the Purnamadav Purnamidam. Okay, so that's a good example. Yeah. Any other questions on the things we covered today? Yes, it is Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. There is Visarga Sandhi there. Asato Ma, there is a Visarga Sandhi, Visarga becoming O, Asataha Ma, Asato Ma, Tamaso Ma, another Visarga Sandhi. Jyotirgamaya, there is Guru Brahma Sandhi. Mrityorma, another Guru Brahma Sandhi. Okay. Gurubhyo Namaha, another Visarga Sandhi. It is Gurubhyaha Namaha. Okay. So Visarga Sandhi is all over, even in the simple prayers. Any questions?
Jagdish, I have one question. It's not a question actually, it's a request.
Okay.
I was wondering if it's possible, maybe not. Like all these exercises that we are doing on our own, if we don't have somebody to compare and check out, if we are doing it the right way or wrong way, I was just thinking, is it possible if
yeah, it is possible. Once we finish, if we finish in the next class or the class after, we'll go over.
Okay.
We'll go on page by page, and maybe each exercise finish. They do some tough looking ones or the long looking ones.
Yeah. Because sometimes I'm doing them, but then I have a doubt in my mind and I then get confused.
Okay, sure, we'll do that.
Okay.
Jagdish, on an ongoing basis, I also had the same thing. These are simpler examples as we go ahead. If we can post supposing you give us an exercise this week, we do next week after, if we can post the answers, this way we can check and see if our answers.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, after the Visarga Sandhi is done and after the Sandhis are done, the book is ended, then I have made up some homework myself, making the things not that easy, mixing up the Sandhis. Okay. So those cases we will discuss each one.
Okay. I think what I'm finding is like if it's only one sandhi that you have to, make or undo, then I'm able to. But when they're mixed up, then
exactly. Yeah. Now it is very easy because end of one sandhi exercise pertains only to that sandhi. There is no other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Whereas in real life, that is not the case. You have to decide, right?
I know.
Okay, we will do that.
Thank you.
Jagdish, one question. It's not Sandhi, but it's Visarga.
Yeah.
Bhagavad-Gītā, there's one shloka that has different spelling. I don't know spelling, but one has Visarga and one doesn't. Second chapter, 9th shloka. Saṁskṛta eva muktva rishikesham gudakeshav parantapaha. And in some cases, I've also seen parantapa. Are both correct?
Eva muktva rishikesham okay. I don't know which is right, but if that parantapa, okay, if it is addressing Arjuna, if Krishna is addressing Arjuna, then Visarga will not be there. Okay, because Sambodhana Pratama for Akaranta, Visarga will not be there.
I think this is Sanjaya Uvacha, and Sanjaya is talking to Dhritarashtra.
Okay. Eva muktva rishikesham gudakeshaha parantapa nayotsya iti govindam uktva tushnim babuvaha. So if it is not so, then if it is not addressing, if it is not sambodhana, then it is parantapa. It should be parantapaha if it is not addressing.
Mahodaya, what I've heard is, if it is parantapaha, then it's referring to Arjuna. Okay?
Yeah, it is referring to Arjuna, not addressing Arjuna.
Correct. No, but if it is parantapa, then it is Sanjaya addressing Dhritarashtra. He's calling Dhritarashtra parantapa.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so that's why when the commentary was given, they said that parantapaha is a better one because Arjuna is more likely to be the destroyer of foes than Dhritarashtra.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. But if it is Sanjaya addressing Dhritarashtra, then is Sanjaya addressing Dhritarashtra as Parantapa.
Okay.
Then only Visarga, absence of Visarga makes sense. It is simpler. Okay. If it is in Pratama Purusha Ekavachana, okay, somebody is as a third person, it will be with Visarga. But if it is second person addressing somebody, okay, it will be without Visarga. Because Ramaha, He Rama.
Okay, He Rama, He Rama, He Rama.
He Ramaha. So if it is Sambodhana Pratama, then Visarga will not be there.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Jagdishan.
So if it is, in cases like this, I go and check Swamiji's home study book.
It says it's a first person, parantapaha. I'm looking at it.
Parantapaha, right.
His previous word is Gudakesha. So it's that is referring to Arjuna. Arjuna, who is a parantapa.
Okay, so I won't do that. In the sense, I will not say this or that till I check authentic. For me, most authentic is Swamiji's home study course. So you can do yourself. Go to 9 if you have home study course. Go to verse 9 and see what.
I'm looking at Swamiji's book. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you, Jagdishan.
All right.
Thank you, Urmila Ji.
Okay.
Thank
See,
you.
For example, later on, 2010, there is a word ending with Bharata. Okay, so that is definitely Sambodhana.
Okay. Thank you.
Hari Om.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Thank you.